What's up, everybody? Stumpy gets a diff service. This is the closed knuckle Dana 44 on the front of Stumpy, the 65 Ford F100 four-wheel drive. Got a growling noise in the front end somewhere. I don't know if it's in the differential. I don't know if it's in those closed knuckles right there. I did check fluids. Fluids were fine. I checked fluids in the diff the other day. Those were fine too. I mean, trust me, those fluids were nasty. Thought I had hit the record button already. Didn't. Cool. Yay. Anyway, a couple of tips and tricks on doing a diff service. Since I already pulled the cover, and I apologize for not getting that recorded, I take a cardboard box and I just kind of draw out the pattern of the bolts. That way, in case you have, for some odd reason, you have a longer bolt than the others, then you won't mess up where it goes. You got the diff tag there too. So just punch little holes, put them all in there. I used a ratchet, just a 3/8 ratchet, to break the diff bolts loose first, instead of just hammering on them with like the little impact. That way, you don't run as much of a risk breaking a bolt. There was probably right down here where all the sediment gets, there was probably a pile of sludge about half an inch tall, I bet, in here all the way back. So I just Harbor Freight gloves, scrape that all out into the, actually we might be able to see the sludge pile. It's still dripping. I don't know if we can or nah, probably not, but maybe I'll try to video it later. But that is a sludge pile inside there. Just use some brake clean. I didn't go crazy, but just use some brake clean. And you see I got it on jack stands here, and I engaged the hubs. That way when I spin the tire, it actually spins the differential with either tire. And as you can see, the transfer case, since this is a divorced transfer case, it actually doesn't, while you're driving down the road, unless you have four-wheel drive, the hubs locked, it will not engage the front end, or I should say the transfer case. As you can see, the shaft there, that is the drive shaft from the transmission to the transfer case, which then goes to the rear end. And then once you shift the transfer case into 4 high or 4 low, that's when it will actually start spinning the front drive shaft. And then you have to, let me roll out here. You have to go out here, typical Ford style still, and you have to lock the front axles in. It's just like a little coupler in there with some gears that engage once you spin that little dial right there. Spin that into lock, and away it goes. So as you can see, when I spin that tire, it's moving the differential. Again, and I didn't go crazy, but I probably used a can of brake clean, to just spray in there, get some of that old crap off of there. I don't want to go crazy. I don't want it brand new, crystal clean. It's old, and I don't want to run the risk, I don't know, of, taking too much out, because sometimes with old stuff, you might have a little bit of buildup in there that's actually helping your bearing clearances. At least that's what all the old timers always say. So I don't go crazy. I just, spray out, get the gunk out of there, especially out of the bottom of the housing, that once that starts to heat up, all that gunk, it starts to, get in with your fluid and starts throwing it up everywhere. So you can see that's nice thing about a Dana 44 is they have a big drain hole. They got a big old, that's probably like a 3/4 inch drain plug. So that's pretty awesome that they actually have that. So, with differentials, this fluid is nasty. It is thick, it is gooey, it stinks, but hey, that's all part of it. So anyway, I'll hop up here and let's run over to the work table. And just pretty simple from here. You just want to wipe out, as you can see with that rag, you just want to wipe out the sludge that's out of there, and then just a wire brush on your drill. And you're just gonna clean it. It goes from there to looking like that, nice and clean. You want to get all that surface nice and clean, because your gasket's gonna go back up. I prefer to actually just use a differential cover gasket if it's available. You know, you can use diff cover or a gasket maker. I've used it before. I don't like to use that because I always seem to go overboard a little bit, and then it squeeges out, and it might squeege into here, and just one more level of protection and not get it in there if it doesn't need to be. So gonna scrub that diff cover up. That's gonna take a little bit of time. That stuff's been on there. I'm gonna guess this differential truck's got miles are verified when I bought it by previous owner, 2 previous owners. It's got like 25,000 on it now. But I just went to, actually this time I went to Napa because it was local, and Velcro actually goes like this diff cover gasket. And what's funny is they actually tell you right on here, 44 axle, 1964 to 1995. Interesting, because I mean, last I knew they're all the same. But anyway, just going with regular old 80/90, not going crazy. And then I was reading about the hubs and I should say the closed knuckles here. Ford says for warmer climates, 80/90. For cooler climates, go to 140. So 140, a little heavier, a little thicker, may help with, you know, those hubs a little bit. So I'm going to change those too. That's pretty easy to do. Just toss some 140 in there and, you know, see if that helps. So anyway, also I was thinking, I got to figure out a way here. I don't have a lift. I got to figure out a way here. My driveway, I don't know if you can see this, but my driveway is pretty slanted. So like with Stumpy jacked up there, he's still not quite level. But with it being slanted, I don't want to jack the back end up too and take it completely off and then run the risk of those jack stands going like that and it falling and stuff. But I'm going to try to figure out a way without having a lift. I might have to do it over here in the side yard where it's, or the front of the driveway where it's a little more level and face the north-south, but get it off all fours and engage the front end. Basically get all 4 in the air and engage the front end and get it up to a little bit more driving speed, and see if I can maybe have a buddy come over and listen around to hear, try to pinpoint where that noise is coming from. If it's coming from the front end, meaning front axle, or if it's coming from the transmission. You know, the other day I checked all fluids. I checked diff, rear diff fluid, transfer case fluid, transmission fluid, engine oil, front disc, knuckles. Everything was good. I greased all the U-joints, which old truck like this, all the U-joints are serviceable, so which is super awesome. Everything's tight. But you know, this truck sat for 32 years. I've probably put I want to say I put probably getting close to 1,000 miles on him since we got him going. So not a ton of miles, but you know, stuff after you start driving it for a little while. Actually, look at that, it turned over 26,000. So over 26,000. So yeah, I probably put about 25, 3 or 4. I probably put 700, actually 700-ish miles on him. You know, but I mean, the stuff's sitting for so long, putting fresh fluids in it. Who knows? Maybe a bearing got mad somewhere. So, you know, but I mean, he's not a daily driver yet. Be awesome if he was. But we're gonna keep working on him, and we're gonna keep digging into it a little bit by a little bit, and you know, see what we can do, see what we can figure out. But you know, hopes that we can drive him a lot more this summer. So anyway, that pretty much covers the diff service. There's you know, once you put your drain plug back in, I should say, put your drain plug back in, clean it all up, clean this surface. up really good. And you just need like a razor blade on a stick. They make those gasket scrapers. Just want to clean that all up real good. Put your cover back on and fill it with fluid. Make sure your vehicle's sitting level. Fill the fluid back up until it comes out of the fill hole, and you're pretty much set. I would drive it, drive it around town, not go crazy, and then let it sit for, handful of minutes and let everything settle back in, check fluid again, and, wouldn't hurt to check it again down the road a little bit, but you don't got to go crazy. So pretty basic service, but definitely stuff that needs to be done on old trucks. So anyway, hey, if you haven't already, consider hitting the subscribe button, like, comment, share it with friends. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.